and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our stamp set, Simply Celebrate Winter Critters. We're also going to be introducing our Simply Celebrate Winter Critters add-on, which is a stamp set full of cute phrases that you can put in that little speech bubble row there for the critters to say, and these phrases are so much fun. So let's go ahead and check these two sets out. First up, we have our adorable row of critters with a moose, owl, bunny, bear, and narwhal. Then we have our row of holiday bugs, and they are just the cutest things ever. We have these super sweet penguins, and I love the one that's kind of peeking up over the edge. And then this row of deer is so cute, and I love putting a little gem on Rudolph's nose on one of these. It's just adorable. And then the mice in the Santa hats. I mean, oh my goodness, how sweet is this? And then we have this row of speech bubbles that you can fill with different phrases. And there are phrases that are included in the Simply Celebrate Winter's Critters set. And so here we have wishing you a happy winter, Merry Christmas. Then we have a joyful season, and of course, and a happy new year. Now, the cool thing is with the Simply Celebrate Winter Critters add-on, we have all of these other phrases that you can add to those speech bubbles, and they are so much fun. So we have season's greetings, thanks so moose, we're not moose-staken. These just crack me up. You're the coolest. We also have happy owladays, and you can see we have a lot of cute puns that go along with all of these different critters. We have happy holidays, and you're gnarly. We also have Merry Christmas. And I love that some of these phrases are holiday related and some of them are just general. We have Joyeux Narwhal, stay warm and cozy instead of warm and cozy. That one cracks me up. We have Be Merry. These are so cute for the bugs. And Bah Humbug is my favorite for that little grumpy bug. It is so cute. We have Bugs and Kisses, which is so sweet. And of course, You're Sweet as well. We have What'll I Do Without You, which is so adorable for the penguins. Then we also have You're So Much Fun. And I love all these kind of cold phrases. They're cute with the penguins and with that kind of row of mixed critters too. We have Have a Nice Day. I'm Fond of You, which is so cute for the deer and one of my favorites. We have Oh Dear. And then Christmas is Here, which is so cute. I love the kind of little rhyming phrase. Hope It's Gouda, perfect for the mice. Sorry to be cheesy. That one cracks me up too. And then we have a Mice Holiday, so super cute. We have Sending Cheer, and we have Joy to You. And I love that these phrases can be mixed and matched with the ones in the Simply Celebrate Winter Critters or in any of our Simply Celebrate series. We have Love, all of us, Be Merry, Be Bright, which is super cute with the little firefly bug too, and then From Us. And then you can have the next critter say, to you, which is so super cute and sweet. And here you can see all of those phrases and how you can mix and match them with these super cute critters. And we're going to be doing a bunch of those in just a little bit. But first up, we need to add some color to these adorable images with our Copic markers. And we're going to be starting off with this row of critters that has the moose and the owl and the narwhal. And these guys are so cute and they're so much fun to color in. I love that they're kind of peering over the edge here. And they're just so much fun for quick and simple cards or more complicated cards too. And we're going to be showing you so many different ways to use these guys in simple, easy to mass produce cards, in tags, in more difficult, more involved cards where you bring in other stamp sets. I mean, there's so many cute ways. And this set is the latest in our series from the Simply Celebrate series. So we have a ton of different Simply Celebrate sets with lots of different images, and these winter critters might be my absolute favorite. They are just so much fun. So there you can see we've colored in the owl in some warm grays, and we've used some light browns for that cute little bunny. And then now we're doing the E40s for the bear. I love doing E40s on the bears. I don't know why. I just think they're so cute. And I'm giving everybody some little rosy cheeks. And then for the narwhal, I'm using these purple colors that are kind of grayish. I thought it was kind of cute and a fun pop of color in these adorable little winter critters. And then I'll just add a little bit of light gray there to his tusk. And then next up, we have the bugs. And the bugs are so super cute because you can bring in a lot of different colors for them. So first I'm doing this little worm there. And then now we're going to do our little grumpy bug. He's our Bah Humbug bug. And he is just so much fun. And then I love how the other bugs are holding the string of lights. I just think this is so sweet. And this makes for such a cute and unique card. The other cool thing about these images are that they're very small and easy to color in, and you could even do each one of those with just one marker. You don't even have to do shading and they would look amazing. So these would be really great if you were mass producing a ton of holiday cards, because you could stamp out a bunch of rows of these adorable little bugs that would make for such a unique card, and you could just use one color marker on each, and oh my goodness, would this make someone smile. Now it's time to work on the penguins, and you can see there that I'm starting off with the darkest marker and going along the inside edge and then blending it out with medium into light. And I never actually end up using that N0 marker. It was just a little bit too light, so you'll see I just kind of go back and keep blending in towards their face. And that creates just such a cute little look, and I like the highlight kind of towards their face. It brings the attention there towards their cute little eyes and their cute little nose there. It's just so sweet and adorable. And so there you can see I'm just going back and forth. I was struggling blending between the N3 and the N1, and I just touched the markers together to kind of create that medium shade. And then for their faces, I'm just doing a little row there of that cool gray marker, and then I'll blend it out with the colorless blender. And of course, I have to give them some rosy cheeks. And I feel like once you give them their rosy cheeks, there's just something so special about that. I love using red for all their accessories. I just think there's something about that bright pop of red with the penguins that looks so great. But you could do all sorts of different colors to coordinate with your color scheme of your card or whatever pattern paper you might be featuring. So I love that it's a fun way to bring in a lot of color. And there you can see I just added some warm gray to the white parts of the hat just to give them a little extra definition. Now for my deer, I decided to just stick with the same markers for each deer, and I'm going to have them all be the same shade of brown. But you could also alternate your different shades of brown, and that's what I'm going to do with the mice in just a little bit. But I thought if I was going to mass produce some cards, this would be an easy way for me to be able to color in these cute little deer by just using the same markers, and you can see that they look absolutely amazing. I just think they're looking so adorable and so sweet. Then I'm going to bring in my markers for their antlers and just do kind of a quick blend there. And then a different shade of brown there for their faces. And I thought it was a bit too light, so I brought in just a little bit of a darker marker and added just a little bit of that and blended it out. And you can see that it really adds a lot of color to their face and looks super, super cute. And now we're going to move on to those super cute mice. And you'll see here that for some of the mice, I'm going to be doing E30s, and for some of them, I'm going to be doing E40s. And I like the mixture of the different shades of brown. I just think it looks super, super cute on the mice. And you can see that I kind of go around the outside edge with the dark, then into the medium, and then into the light. And we're going to be doing the same thing here with our E40 markers, blending them all out. And you'll see in just a little bit, I bring in an even lighter marker because the E42 was just a bit too dark, so I decided to bring in one more marker and just blend those all out. And oh my goodness, these guys are just so cute. I'm also going to use red for their Santa hats because I just think it's just such a nice pop of color. And then for the white areas on their Santa hats, I'll just use a little bit of a warm gray marker, and I feel like that just gives the white areas just a little definition. And of course, some rosy cheeks. And then for my speech bubbles, I like taking my lightest possible blue marker that I have and just going around the inside edges, and it just gives those speech bubbles a little pop. Now here are the coordinating dies, which you can bend apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. We're going to line those up with our stamped images, hold it in place with some low tack tape. We'll run it through the die cut machine, and then we'll have perfectly cut out images every time. And then here is a look at all of the images from this set. And oh my goodness, I just can't, I smile every time I look at these little row critters. They are just so adorable and they make for the cutest cards. And I love the speech bubbles with all the little custom sentiments that you can mix and match. It is just too much fun. Now it's time to start creating some cards with these sets, and we're going to be working on our speech bubble, and we're starting off with the Merry Christmas from the Simply Celebrate Winter Critters, and then we're taking some of the phrases from the add-on for the cute little bug phrases. So we have the Bah Humbug, Be Bright, Be Merry, and then Love All of Us. We're going to put that speech bubble row aside and start working on the card base. So here we have the favorite flannel paper, and we're going to take out this green because I thought the green was really cute with the bugs, and I'm going to die cut this with the largest stitched rectangle at 5.5 by 4.25. Then we're going to be creating an easy to reproduce card here. So we're going to trim off the top at 1.25 inches. And I'm going to make sure to save this piece. And then we're going to trim the bottom piece down to 3 inches. And that little middle section there, I can just put aside and save for another project. Then we're going to take a standard size card here that's 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to layer these two pieces on, and we're going to be leaving that little gap in the center, and that's where we're going to feature our row of critters. And this card layout is perfect for any of the Simply Celebrate critter sets. It looks so cute. It's such a fun way to show off pretty pattern paper, and it makes for a card that I can make a ton of for the holidays. So now we're layering the bottom part, and we have that nice white cardstock base peeking out in the center. And that's where we're going to add our cute little row of bugs and then these super adorable sentiments that we just stamped out. So I'm going to flip both of these over, and we're going to layer a bunch of foam squares on the back. Since this is a pretty clean and simple card, the foam squares are going to give us a nice pop and really make these images the star of the show. So we'll peel up the liner paper, and then I like to line up the bottom edge there of the row of critters with the top edge of that paper. And then once I have those centered, I can take my speech bubbles and line those up with all of the little bugs. And I mean, the guy holding the candy cane, I just can't with these bugs. I can't stop smiling. Now here is the Christmas before and after stamp set, and there's a really great season's greetings phrase in there. And any kind of holiday sentiment would work great here. And we're going to stamp that out in some black licorice ink, and then take a sentiment banner die, and we're going to die cut this phrase. And the banner die was a bit too long, so I'm just going to line it up with the left-hand side, and then run it through the die cut machine. And then I can just shift this whole banner die over to the left and then line up that edge right there so that everything matches. Hold it in place with low tack tape again and run it through the die cut machine, and it's going to give me a custom size banner that's going to be the perfect size for my card. I'm just going to add some tape runner to that and then layer that right beneath my bugs, and this card is all done. It's super cute, clean and simple, and absolutely adorable. I mean, look at this. It's so cute. Now I wanted to take this same layout and step it up just a little bit. So I'm going to start off by stamping out my row of speech bubbles, and here we have sending cheer, happy holidays, which is so cute, season's greetings. So I love the mixture of kind of normal phrases and punny phrases. And here, of course, we have our Merry Christmas and also, of course, the narwhal phrase. Then we're going to take this speech bubble and set it aside, and we're going to bring back that favorite flannel paper. I am obsessed with this paper. It is like the coziest paper. It just makes me want to wrap myself in a blanket. I just love it so much. And so we're going to go through this paper and find this beautiful blue and die cut it with that same largest stitched rectangle that's 5.5 by 4.25. And then we're going to trim this one a bit differently. The top piece is still 1.25 inches, but the bottom piece, I'm actually going to trim it to 2 3/4. And that's because these critters are a bit bigger than the bugs, so I wanted to make sure that they had enough space and area to shine. So we'll take that middle piece and set it aside, and then just like we did before, we can take our standard size card base and layer those on. But before we do this, this is where we're going to step it up. We're going to take this beautiful starry sky background hot foil plate and put it on our hot foil machine. We've pressed the button, the timer button. It flashes for about a minute. Now it's solid, so we're ready to go and put our foil face down, our piece of cardstock, and the 2 plates that hot foil machine comes with. Then we can take this whole thing and run it through the die cut machine off camera, and we can peel up this whole foil, and isn't that gorgeous? We have these beautiful snowy starry scene that's going to be great for our winter critters. Now this beautiful snowy sky is going to be peeking out between those pattern papers. So on the bug card, we left the white cardstock there. On this one, we're going to add these beautiful hot foiled stars. And the cool thing is that we have the rest of that hot foil that you could save for another card, or even to mass produce this card design, and you could have a bunch with the cute hot foiled stars. So what we're going to do is add some tape runner to the back of the hot foil piece, and I'm going to layer that so that it's about 1 inch down from the top of the card. Then I can go ahead and take my other pieces and layer them over top. And you'll see how pretty it's going to look with those hot foiled stars and snowy scene peeking out from behind the flannel pattern paper. So now we'll take our bottom piece and layer that on. Now before I add my critters, I actually wanted to just stamp exactly onto the card base. So instead of using a banner like we did in the bugs, this time I'm going to stamp right on there. And I'm using a phrase from the Merry Messages stamp set. That is an oldie but a goodie set that has the best holiday sentiments in it. And this is one of my favorites. And it says, sending joy for the holidays. So I'm going to ink that up with some black licorice ink. And then we're going to stamp that right down onto the card. And we'll have our sentiment right on there. We also could have done this for the bug card as well instead of using a banner. So I like that there's lots of different ways you can mix and match this kind of card style. So now we've got our cute little speech bubbles with those adorable puns and our fun little critters, and we're going to add foam squares to the back of these as well. And then we can peel up the liner paper, and just like we did with the bugs, we're going to take our cute little critters and line them up right there at the edge where the pattern paper meets the stars. And then we're going to take our little speech bubbles there and line them up with each of the characters and layer that over top. And this card is looking so cute. I mean, I just love this so much. I just think it's so adorable. It's such a simple design, but it just packs such a big punch because that row of critters is just the cutest thing ever. And so here is a comparison between the two cards, and oh my goodness, I can't wait to make ones of these for all of the different critters in these sets. So now that we've made some more simple cards, we're going to work on taking these rows of critters and incorporating them into a scene on a card. And so we're starting off here by die cutting a stitch square stackable. And I haven't made a square card in a long time, and this was so much fun. I need to make more square cards. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off inking this, and we're going to be doing some masking. And these are just regular old Post-its, and just kind of eyeballing it kind of right in the center of this square. We're going to layer 2 Post-its to mask off the bottom because we're just going to be inking our sky over top. And to ink the sky, we're going to be using Salvage Patina, Salty Ocean, and Mermaid Lagoon inks for this beautiful blue wintry sky. So we'll start off by building up that light color all over this top part. And then we'll start bringing in our darker blues. So there's the Salty Ocean, and you can see this sky start to kind of form, and it's just looking so pretty. And then we'll get that Mermaid Lagoon kind of coming up from the top, and then go back and forth between the colors until we have a really nice, smooth blend. Then we can peel up these Post-its, and this is my favorite part. I love revealing a mask. Look at that. It's so cool. Ah, I love it so much. And so now for the bottom part, this is going to be the snow of our card. We're going to take that same lightest color, the Salvage Patina, and just go lightly around the edges to give it that kind of like icy, snowy feel to the bottom. And I think it's really pretty because it kind of brings in the color from the top. Now at this point we decided to spray some water onto this background and pick it up with a dry paper towel. But I didn't want any of the water to get on the white snowy part, so we just put those Post-it masks right back down again. And here we're going to take some white acrylic paint and we're going to spray it with a little bit of water to thin the paint out, and then tap the paintbrush to create a snowy splatter on the sky. And I love the mixture of the water drops and the white acrylic paint. It just gives it this like blustery, snowy day feel. Then we can peel up those Post-its and we'll have this beautiful sky that we can start adding our design to. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring in those adorable penguins from the Simply Celebrate Winter Critters. Then we're going to bring back our Simply Celebrate Winter stamp set, which has this really cute row of trees. And that's what I love about these sets, is that they're all that same size row so you can mix and match them together. Then we've gone ahead and stamped out that kind of ice block there from Snowball Fight, and we're going to stamp out 3 of those, and we're going to create kind of like a row of ice there onto our card. And so we're going to start off by trimming off that top ice row. We didn't need such a tall ice block there, and it's going to work out perfectly to just trim that off as just one nice straight cut. And right now we are recreating a version of a card by Maureen. So thank you so much, Maureen, for this incredible idea. Maureen always does such a cool job of integrating the different Simply Celebrate critter sets into scenes, and I thought this was just the cutest thing ever. So now that we've trimmed off the top of all of those ice blocks, we can start to layer them on the card. And so I'm going to start by layering one all the way to the left and all the way to the right. And I'm kind of splitting that little line between our sky and our snow. Then once we have those lined up, I can take the one in the center and layer it up between the 2 ice blocks. And you'll see that they're going to line up really nicely, and it's almost going to feel like one continuous row of ice. You can do things like this with logs or other different things you might find in your stamp sets to create a long row to put underneath your critters. Now, for our speech bubbles, these are the ones that we stamped out at the very beginning that use all of the phrases in the Simply Celebrate Winter set. So there's some really cute Happy Winter, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, etc. Then we're going to take the trees that come from Simply Celebrate Winter and add them. And then we're going to take the Simply Celebrate Winter critters with the penguins, and we're going to add those into the scene. So I went ahead and added some little white gel pen lines, which I think makes them look really 3D and really cute. And we're going to layer them so it looks like all these penguins are hanging over this row of ice blocks, like a little snow fort or something. I think this is so adorable. It's such a cute way to kind of see them peeking over the edge of all of that ice and snow. Then we're going to bring in one of my all-time favorite holiday sets, which is Here We Go, a-waddling, and it has these caroling penguins that are just my favorite. So we went ahead and stamped and colored and die cut those guys. And this is who all of those little penguins are going to be watching. They're watching this cute little caroling concert. So at this point, I realized that these penguins kind of needed somewhere to stand. That inking that we did on the bottom wasn't quite enough to feel like a ground. So I'm just taking one of these simple stitch hillside borders and lining it up at the bottom of my card, and then just die cutting this hill off. That way it still has that same inked edge and everything's going to line up nicely, but you'll see how we're going to make it kind of give a definition to be the ground. So we're going to layer this whole piece on a piece of red textured cardstock here that's been cut down, and we're going to layer that on there. And then with this little snow piece that we cut, we're going to add some foam behind that, and that's going to give it a pop. So I love that we didn't have to cut a whole nother piece. We were able to just cut the piece from the square that we had already inked, and by just die cutting it and popping it up, it looks like a whole nother layer, which I think is really cool because all the inking still lines up in such a pretty way. Then we're going to layer our caroling penguins on top of that. And then I'm going to take some more elements from the set. There's this cute little bell and some music notes that are going to help us fill in the scene. And then I'm going to shop my stash and look for some trees. This is the Winter Sky stamp set, but a lot of lawnfawn sets have really cute trees that would be fun for helping set the scene. And so we're going to be adding some trees around these penguins. And some of the trees are going to have a pop, and then some are just going to be flat adhesive, so they're in the background. And I think that's going to give, once again, that definition. So the carolers are kind of in the front, and then we've got their cute little audience way in the back. And so I'm going to layer those other trees there in the background. And you can see as we add those in, you really feel all this dimension just from adding those two little trees. I just think it's so cute. And then for some cute little elements, we're going to add in the music notes and the handbell. And I just love this. I love music. I love Christmas carols. So I'm like singing Christmas carols in my head right now. I'm not going to sing them for you guys, but they're going on in my head, and I bet they're going on in yours too. And this is just so cute and so fun. It totally gets me ready for the holidays. And you see those little music notes on there. Oh my goodness. So the next thing that we need is a card base. So we're going to add some tape runner onto the card base, and then we can layer this on there. And this is just the cutest thing. And it's such a fun way to take your Simply Celebrate winter critters and bring them into a scene and combine them with some of your favorite stamp sets. I love the idea of the critters as a little audience for a concert. Next up, Shari is going to show you how to make some super cute tags with the Simply Celebrate winter critters. So take it away, Shari.
So I'm going to use the little deer from the Simply Celebrate Winter Critters to create some tags. Now I don't have a really large tag die, so I'm going to use the second largest of the large mini slimline Stackables. So I'm going to put my reindeer kind of justified to the right, and then you'll see I'll do a little decoration to the left at the top of my tag. I'm going to be using lots of colors from the Favorite Flannel 6x6 paper pad to create my tags today. So I've pulled out two colors that will be my main colors. I've got the green and that lighter teal color. I've cut those out with that mini slimline, and then I'm cutting some scrap pieces out of that dark blue and the red. Now this is going to layer on that left side of my tag, but I want it to have a little bit of a decorative edge, so I'm pulling out the medium scalloped border here. And I'm using the lines on my mat to line these up. You can see I'm taking the flat edge of the border die and I'm lining that up so it is 1 inch from the outside edge of the paper. Once I have these cut, I can just layer them onto one end of my tag. And I'm just using some adhesive runner to adhere this onto the tag. Now you're going to see me cut or punch rather the hole on these, but I am going to end up punching it a couple times because I decided to layer some papers onto the back. So I just found the center, marked it with my pencil, and punched a small hole, and then I'm layering or lining up the other tag and punching through that same hole so that they're in the same spot. Now this is where I decided I should decorate the back of the tag too, and I thought it would be fun to pull out from the Spiffier Speckles paper pack that white paper that has the pale gray dots on it. So it's not just a piece of white paper on the back, it has a little bit of texture happening. I cut it with that same mini slimline rectangle, and I'm just going to layer that on the back, lining up those two rectangles. And then this will give me a nice, pretty piece of paper to write my to and from or any message that I might want to write. So I wanted to decorate the back a little bit more, so I decided to take those same colors that I cut for the front and cut the edge with that scalloped border so that I can add the same little kind of end piece to the back side that I have on the front. So I'm just lining this up again just like I did before with that flat side at the inch mark on my grid mat, and then I'll just layer these onto the back of each tag. And I think that gives it a really nice finish to that back side as well. Making sure I continue to punch that hole through every time I add some paper. Now I also have this little reinforcer. I've cut it from some pixie dust sparkle cardstock. This is from the Hearts and Stars skinny tag die set, and I thought this was a really good way to just kind of finish off that little hole. So I cut 4 of those, and I will just glue a reinforcer to the front and the back of each of these. Now to add my to and from, do some stamping before I put my reindeer on there. I'm using Henry's ABCs to just spell out 2 with the little dots. And I will stamp that on the back of both of my tags. I'm just using some black licorice ink for this. And you could do it horizontal, but I thought it would be fun to have it vertical on the back side. Then I also spelled out from as well, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that down. So now the back sides are done, and there is space at the bottom where you could put a greeting or write a message, whatever you wanted to do. Now I went ahead and put some foamed squares all over the back of each reindeer and all the speech bubbles there. And then I can just line those up. I'm putting the speech bubbles there so I make sure my spacing is right on my reindeer. And then I can pull off the liner papers and add my little speech bubbles. And all the sentiments in these speech bubbles are a combination. Some are from the Simply Celebrate Winter Critters set, and then some are from the add-on set. And it actually makes it really easy to line these up because of that flannel that I use for the main body of the tag is nice and straight, and you can kind of use that as a guide to line up those characters. Now I have my silver sparkle cord, and I'm just cutting 2 lengths of this. I'll put the 2 ends together, thread them through the hole, then back through the loop, and then I'm just going to tie a knot at the end where the 2 ends are. And I'll do the same to the other tags so that I have my little hanging piece for each of the tags. So here's what the back looks like in the front, and I thought I was done, but actually I decided to add a little gem to one of the noses of each of the reindeer. So I have these red gems from Spellbinders, and that little teeny tiny one in the set fits on their noses perfectly, so I decided to add a Rudolph to each of these. So I'm just picking up that little tiny gem with my craft knife, and then I'm just going to line that up on his nose. So for this tag, I made the last one be Rudolph, and then on the other tag, I added it to the first one. And then now my tags are done, and I just think that they're really cute, and it's really fun to kind of use that mini slimline die in a different way to create something different than a card. And I just love how these turned out, especially that cute little red nose.
Oh my goodness, Shari, these are so cute. I love the idea of using these critters for tags, and now I want to make a bunch of tags featuring all of the different rows of critters. So we have one more card in this video for you guys, and we're going to be doing something really fun with the stamp wheel. But first up, we're going to start off by stamping out some cute little phrases to go along with our mice. So we have Christmas is here, hope it's Gouda, have a mice holiday, sorry to be cheesy, this cracks me up, oh my goodness, and love all of us. So it is just so much fun to mix and match these phrases. But now we're going to be using this really cool stamp wheel tool, and I'm just taking a big piece of cardstock here and putting in the center. This is going to be a bigger piece than what I need, but I thought it would be easier to die cut the whole thing later. So I'm going to take this cute little kind of pine branch thing that's in the Winter Bird stamp set, and I'm going to line it up on this stamp wheel, and I'm going to use this wheel to create a cute little wreath that's going to be a nice little area to feature my row of mice. So I've inked this up with some cilantro ink, and I'm going to stamp it down, flip it over, and then I'll ink it up again, and all I need to do is twist this wheel a little bit to the right, and you'll see that it's going to place the next one in perfect placement to create this super cute little wreath. And so I'm going to ink it up and twist it just a little bit and then keep going around and creating this wreath. And this is super, super fun to do. My son loves playing with this. It's really fun. And so I thought it would be fun to use it here with the Simply Celebrate Winter Critters. So we're going to go ahead and stamp this all the way around. And then I'm going to clean it up with my stamp chamois because I kind of got ink everywhere. And then I'm going to take that same little stamp there and just center it right in between the pine boughs that I already stamped. And they're going to overlap a little bit. That's what's going to make it look like kind of a nice full wreath. And then I'm going to stamp that out in a different shade of green. I'm going to use some freshly cut grass, and so I'll ink up that stamp. And then once again, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to stamp it down, and then I can pick it up and ink it again, and I'm going to fill in the rest of this wreath, or kind of almost like a decorative circle that's going to feature our speech bubbles and our cute mice. So I'm going to kind of keep stamping it down, and I love seeing this form. This is so much fun. And you could, of course, do this with lots of cute little elements like the little branch with berries or other things in the Winter Bird stamp set too. So now that we have our whole wreath stamped out, I'm going to peel this piece off, and then I'm going to take the largest outside in stitched rectangle and die cut this wreath. So I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to have the wreath be a little bit, not right in the center, but up towards the top just a little bit. I can hold this in place with some low tack tape and then run it through the die cut machine, and I'll have that beautiful stitched edge, and I'll have that wreath there that's going to help be this kind of like focal point for our images. To add some extra interest, because this was just plain white paper that I stamped on, I decided to do some gold splatters here. So I have some different shades of gold watercolor paint here, and so I'm just adding some water to the paint and picking it up with the paintbrush. I'm tapping the paintbrush to create different splatters, and I decided to use different shades of the gold just once again for some extra added interest. I wanted kind of like a lighter gold and a darker gold on there, and I think this is just looking so pretty, and that metallic gold is just so nice for the holidays. So I'm going to set this piece aside to dry. And then once it's all dry, we can start working on the rest of the design. So there are those cute little mice and our fun little sayings that we stamped out earlier. And just like we've done before, we're going to flip these over and add a bunch of foam squares on them. Then we're going to add them onto the card, and the wreath is going to be our focal point. For the cards at the beginning, we used kind of that gap in our pattern paper to feature our cute little critters, and now we're using this cute little wreath. You could also do this with a die cut wreath or a die cut star or heart. It would be a really fun way to give this little area for your row of critters to hang out. Now, to add just a little more detail, because this is kind of a clean and simple card, I'm going to take some red sparkle lawn trimmings and just tie it around the card. We'll wrap it around twice and then just tie a little bow. And I like the red sparkle. It goes along with the gold metallic paint because it's sparkly, and also it brings in the red from all of the Santa hats. Then whenever I tie a bow, I like to take a little glue dot and just place it right behind the bow because it holds it in place and kind of keeps it from flopping over and just makes it look really nice. And then we can take this whole thing and add some foam squares to the back. And then we're going to be layering this on to some red sparkle cardstock, which is so gorgeous. And once again, brings in the sparkle from the splatters and the sparkle from the twine in such a beautiful way. And then here we have our standard size card base that's going to be 5.5 by 4.25. We'll add some adhesive to the back of the panel and then layer that right onto the card base. And now this card is done, and it's so super cute. And it was such a fun way to create a focal element for these adorable little critters. Now, next up, we have some amazing cards by the design team, and this first one by Tammy is just stunning. I love that she stenciled a brick wall for her cute little mice to watch the snowball fight from. Here are the super cute tags by Yanea that inspired us to make ours today, and I think they are so adorable, and I love how she layered the white tag over some pattern paper. It's just such a fun look and such a sweet way to adorn a gift. This card here by Audrey is so much fun. She used the giant "Oh, what fun" there and the little critters along the bottom for the sweetest design. Here's the card by Maureen that inspired us. You can see she added more penguins and even a conductor. Oh my gosh, it's just so adorable. And this snow globe card by Megan is so sweet, and I love the row of mice looking down at the adorable snow globe. This card by Letitia is so fun. I love the gold glitter and how she featured that fun flannel paper in such a bright design. And here, Elena used the hot foil starry snowy backdrop there to feature a cute scene for her critters. I love how Grace has our adorable little penguins lined up with our Winter Wonderland window and that sweet scene in the background. And I love that if you take these critters and you can actually cut the little rows of them in half, you can fit them into the ta-da diorama in this super cute design by Callie. I just love it so much. So we cannot wait to see what you guys create with Simply Celebrate Winter Critters, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!